Ice cream cone.
We have a real studio. Don't look at
Just pretend.
everybody who comes in here looks.
Can I enjoy my beverage right next to it, or should I?
We don't
pull
have a
the
mute. Are we recording? Is this live?
We are already recording, so now I can include all of that.
Boy, you're a producer. All right, go ahead, Father.
Ready?
Take us home.
All right. How do we even start this thing? It's been so
Welcome.
long.
It's
Live
welcome,
from-
everyone.
Welcome, everyone, to the Lansing Catholic Podcast. My name is Father Joe. I'm the chaplain here.
I'm Mr. Stolpa. I'm the Dean of Intellectual Formation. We are joined today by the third head of our triumvirate, Mr. Christopher Lulia.
Thank you. And my role is. Do you want to say it or should
No,
I?
you should.
Okay.
I don't know it.
The Dean of Social Formation.
What does that mean?
I didn't know I was gonna have to answer that.
Well, what did you think you were going to do on the podcast?
Say yes or no.
It'd be a very boring podcast. We'll never get to 81
Social
followers. if you do
formation.
that.
Well, it's the third part of our mission statement in terms of how we form our students. And, you know, an easy way to understand it is the work we do both programmatically and relationally to help our students grow outside of simply academic and certainly spiritual, but it all joins together, comes together, right? So most of our programs in social formation are outside of classroom time, however, and not explicitly spiritual in nature.
So as you said, the three deans corresponds to our mission statement, which is that Lansing Catholic forms students to be disciples of Jesus Christ intellectually. Wait, no, I did it in the wrong order. Let me start over.
You're first.
Lansing Catholic High School
Form students
spiritually, intellectually, and socially into disciples of
faithful
Jesus Christ.
disciples of Jesus Christ.
No, I'm reading it right over there.
Doesn't
It just
say
says
faithful?
forms students. Anyways, so the three deans are sort of like assistant principals, if you will, but we each oversee one of those three realms.
Yes,
Is that
sir. That's pretty. I don't know a lot of other schools that have this structure. Usually, you go to a school, and this is for our new parents. This is for our old parents. Usually, you go to a school and you know there's a principal. That's who you go to for everything. But we kind of have it differently set up. However, we still cover all things. So I cover all the intellectual things, all of the academics, anything inside the classroom. It's actually worked out well for us because it allows me to be accessible to the students, accessible to the teachers. If someone has a problem, it's a lot easier to find me internally, whereas a traditional principal or even our president, Mr. Iocco, will handle a lot of the external things and a lot of things of the business. So that's helped out with that. And then Mr. Lulia, the third member here, you have athletics, you have discipline. What else would you do? Why would a parent contact you?
Yeah, that's a good question. One, because perhaps I'm a familiar face or known to them through one of those other channels that you just mentioned. But really, the reason that what I do is support our athletics. I support our house system, and I support our student life, and yes, discipline issues and school safety issues. So, and uniform, throw that in there. So again, things that are experienced throughout our life, but mostly outside of our everyday classroom life.
And Father, why would somebody contact you?
For me, it's more if they have questions about retreats or other spiritual formation events going on, such as discipleship group or adoration night, or if a kid wants to meet for spiritual direction. Usually they just stop by and ask for that, but those are the sorts of things that I get questions about.
You hear confessions in this office, too. It's like our double podcast studio confessional.
Yeah.
But not the two at the same time.
No,
Right.
we do not record confessions.
We do not have a podcast confessions.
I don't know if that would catch on. Probably
It would, but with the
not.
wrong crowd.
We should start with you first, Stolpa.
Well, I
You
didn't
could be
know.
the first
No.
candidate.
This would be the last day on the job for me if that was the case. What's
Well,
going on?
anyways,
What's coming up,
it is
Father? What do
a
we got going
brand
on?
new school year, everyone. I feel like
25.
we should have dramatic music playing in the
Dun,
background
dun,
at this point.
Yeah, the big
For the new
gladiator.
music. So yes, we've got some things going on. By the time this podcast drops, which will probably be this afternoon after recording this,
Oh, are we putting it on Wednesdays, or is it just a special one because we got kids coming
I think
tomorrow,
we should
right?
just do it now because we've got so much stuff going on. So tomorrow, Thursday the 15th, is 9th grade orientation. So all of our new freshmen will be coming.
What time should they get here?
I believe that all begins at 8 a.m.
So for all you freshmen who are listening to this high-quality podcast, your schedules will be available starting at 7:30 in the lobby. So come early, bring your books, bring your pencils. You'll have access to your locker right away, so get everything in the locker, and then class starts when, Father?
Well, 8 o'clock the bell will go off. I'll start with prayer just like we would on a normal school day. and
But
then they're
you've written a
off.
new prayer for
Brand
this
new
year,
prayer
right?
for this year. It'll be fresh off the press. We'll hear it tomorrow.
We'll debut it then. No
Yes.
preview of what
I've been
it
working
says?
on my my DJ radio voice, been doing vocal exercises. And
Is that true?
No.
I thought about that.
Have you tried it out loud yet?
I did pray it. When I wrote the prayer, I prayed it out loud a few times to make sure like flowed okay. Sometimes when it's in writing, it's like it seems fine, but then you say it out loud and it's all clunky.
No references to the rural juror or difficult
No
things
tongue
like
twisters.
that to say.
No. So we do have Mass tomorrow. It is a holy day of obligation, the Solemnity of the Assumption. So any students that are there, we will have Mass. That'll be at the end
Is
of
that
the
open
day.
to families or friends?
Well, parents are welcome to come. I'm a little concerned we might run out of space in the chapel if like tons of families show up, but we'll just
We
pack
will
it
not
in
turn
and-
you away, though.
No,
If
we're
you
not
come
going to
to our
turn you away
Mass,
from
yeah.
Mass. Mass is at 1:50 p.m. So at the
In
end of the
Mexico,
day.
I'll throw that in there. Mass, people sit in the aisles and
Yeah.
stand. I mean,
Well, we now
so
have
that's
that-
legit here too.
We have that speaker in the lobby, so we could even have overflow out in the lobby, and they could still listen and just imagine what's going on in there.
Electronic speaker, not just like a person speaker,
No.
right?
Relaying the message.
Okay.
That's what they used to do in like the Middle Ages. If you had a huge cathedral, they'd be preaching from the pulpit, and if there were people in the back that couldn't hear, there'd be a guy that would like relay the message. Apparently.
Did they design those old cathedrals to be acoustically pleasing?
Oh yeah, the
So-
acoustics are amazing in those things.
Because
Like,
they didn't have a lot of microphones back
they
then.
had
did
zero
they?
microphones.
Zero,
They didn't have
okay.
electricity.
But
It's fair.
since we've watched The Chosen, we know that Jesus came up with that idea first. That's how he preached to the multitudes.
With relaying the
Did he
message.
copyright that? Because he could have been rich if they would have done that.
Anyways, that's tomorrow, so we're looking forward to seeing all of our freshmen. On Friday the 16th, we have orientation for our 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. What time should they arrive for that?
They should. Class starts at 8, so whatever time they need to be here. Same thing. Your schedules will be printed for you and ready to go at 7:30. So if you are not able to print it, come in. It's at the table. Go to your lockers. Go to the table that has your grade level, and we'll get you off to your classes.
And the bell will ring at 8. Start
You'll
the
get the new prayer.
and then we'll be off.
Also saw for the sophomore, junior, seniors that parking passes are affixed to your schedule.
Oh, how did they get to determine who got the best parking spots?
Well, the committee assigned them. It was
Like
a
a
first come,
draft.
first serve basis, but
Okay.
yes.
So
I feel
it's
like
not
we should-
Selection Sunday or something.
We could
No.
like televise that
We could podcast
or
that.
podcast
Oh,
it
yeah.
a live
With the
drawing.
first pick in the 2025-26
All right, looking ahead to next week,
parking lot draft.
Monday, August 19th. That's our first day of regular classes. So once again, classes begin at 8. The building opens at 7. And the bell will start at 8. And we'll
Is there Rojinka that day?
That's right. There is a new bell schedule this year. So Mondays, we don't have the long schedule for Mondays anymore. Instead, it's a Rajinka schedule. And so Monday we'll have a Rajinka time for third. Is that third hour?
That was a good plug by Mr. Lulia there.
That was a good segue.
That's why he's on the show.
Third hour, yes, still.
So that's an exciting little adjustment for this year. We'll have some more Rajinka time every week.
So is there no mass on Monday, Father?
There is Mass at 7 a.m. All
But-
are welcome to come to that. It's a little bit early because we have the senior sunrise event at 7:30. So
What does
that's
that mean?
Only for seniors. It's just a special little gathering we have on the very first day of school. We'll have some snacks for them, and we do a big class photo, and I say a little blessing and kind of just start off the year special. Just
Can
for the
parents
seniors.
go to that?
No, it's just for the students.
Do you think the kids would be upset if the parents were there, like lurking on the outside trying to take pictures?
Because
Because for them, this is their baby's senior year.
I mean, I think it would depend on the kid. Some kids might be fine, some might not like it. So I guess I'll let the parents decide if they want to try to lurk at the fence taking pictures. Tuesday is our first all-school mass, so that'll be at 10 a.m. Parents are welcome to come to that and all of our all-school masses.
And that'll be in the gym.
That'll be in the gym.
If I were a parent and I was coming to mass, what is the procedure? Because I've never been. As is me pretending.
You've never
be a
been to
parent.
mass,
No,
Stolpa?
Father. Listen, that'll be on the confessional podcast.
I've seen him there.
in spirit.
Barely doesn't pay attention. He doesn't realize he's there.
Well, that's true. Sometimes the homilies get a little long-winded.
Oh,
so
okay.
I get a little off.
All right.
So, but let's pretend for this argument that I'm a parent and I've never been to all school mass here at school, And part of it's because it's like me and my fear of the lunchroom. You just don't really know how to do it, so you
Sure.
just don't go. So what is the procedure for a parent to come to all-school
This
mass?
is a great question. So a parent should come to the main entrance and click the buzzer to be let in. And if they ask what you're doing there, just say, I'm here for the all-school mass.
So you do need to check in at the office.
You do need to check in at the office and sign in as a guest. And then you will go down to the gym, and the parents typically sit in the bleachers, sort of off to the side, because all the chairs on the floor are for the students.
And those bleachers are, partially pulled out.
Yeah.
It's like
2 or 3 rows.
2/7 of the way out. And so if you see them 2/7 of the way pulled out, feel free to sit in them still.
That's a very precise fraction. 2/7. Okay. So
That's
that's
the theme this year, precision.
Tuesday. Wednesday is kind of a regular day. We also have Rajinka scheduled that day. Mass is at 7:15 for any students that want to come. Thursday will be a normal Thursday schedule.
However, there is pictures on Thursday.
Yeah,
We like to get out of the way. So if you're listening, get your hair cut this weekend
that's true.
because we got pictures coming on Thursday. And it's out of dress, so you don't have to wear a uniform, but it's not too far out of dress. So don't wear crazy costumes. No dressing up as Spider-Man this year.
Is there still a dress code for picture day, Mr. Luya?
Oh yeah, it's casual dress guidelines.
What does that mean for those who have never been here?
Well, there's a set of things there, but it can't be things that are either too revealing or inappropriate material on them, and it's comfortable, right? Usually is what people tend to go with, sweats or things like that. But depending on what your parents expect for the picture is really
So right,
important.
so this is the picture though that's going to be in
The yearbook,
The
and your
yearbook,
student ID.
student ID,
So
and
your face cannot be covered either. You
and your
cannot.
parents might put it on the wall.
Exactly.
So you should probably wear something nice that your parents would approve of. Maybe let your
Yes.
parents pick out your clothes the night before.
Exactly.
Now, is the bell schedule different on Thursdays this year?
Yes, Tuesday and Thursday, in fact.
Have the same schedule?
They have the same schedule.
Why
at
is
that.
that, Mr. Lulia?
Consistency is a helpful thing in the
So-
learning process and making life work better.
So what time do classes begin on Tuesdays and Thursdays now?
8:30.
Ooh, so we'll have to get
AM.
used to that. People are used to starting at 9.
It's
on
still a late
Thursdays.
start. And why did we go to that switch? Do you guys know?
Well, it's partly what he just said. We're trying to make it a little more consistent. So now we just have 2 sort of standard schedules, the Monday, Wednesday, Friday one, and then the Tuesday, Thursday one.
Can you do anything on those Tuesdays? So from until 8:30, is there a time to meet for students? Is there a time for meeting with teachers? What is that built into that day?
Yeah, there's different features like those things you mentioned. So, for instance, Thursdays would be discipleship group.
Which will meet at 7:30.
So it's meeting a little earlier. Yeah. But if you're a true disciple, well, you have an opportunity.
If
to
you're truly
Where
committed to
do the
the group.
disciples meet?
in the library.
Okay.
Yep. The student leadership team, SLT, will begin their meetings, and they will hold them on Thursdays, I believe, or is it Tuesdays?
I think they're going to be Tuesdays.
Okay, so there's some ironing out of those details. NHS, National Honor Society, will find a spot in that window as well on Tuesdays. Some staff meetings will occur, but really, for a lot of people, it's just an opportunity to come and connect with the teacher that when they're not busy at a meeting, have an opportunity to learn something, get some help with something, test, or get homework done, things like that in that time frame, or show up at 8:30.
And for those of you who are worried that you won't know what to do on those mornings, we'll have lots of meetings, emails, communications about when your groups will meet and how those will look going forward. So fear not, we have you covered.
Speaking of the morning, I want to give this pro tip, though. It's still our favorite, well, not favorite, least favorite season in Michigan, which is construction. And if you are coming from East Lansing,
North, south, east, or west, there's construction.
there's construction everywhere, but particularly we got a new wrench. The middle school, Patton Gill, the catwalk, right? Sky
Over the
Bridge, whatever you
road.
want to call it.
Yeah.
It's down to 2 lanes from 4 lanes, and I cross through there a lot. Real backup bottleneck going on there.
So
as
that's
well
if you're
as-
going westbound on
Yes.
Saginaw Highway towards the school.
So arriving to the school, coming
Yep.
from the East Lansing area, or Frandor, anything like that. So you might want to leave a little earlier and not say traffic made you late.
That's
Yeah.
a good tip, Mr. Lulia. Good work.
So the only other thing next week is Friday. There is no classes. So
classes.
students enjoy the day off. Teachers have PD that day, so we will all be here together having a grand old time.
I feel like you're mocking the professional development, Father.
And then after that, we'll be on to another week, but we'll have to wait until next week's
Another week, another podcast.
to
We
talk
can't
about
do the
that
whole
stuff.
preview of everything coming up after this.
So
Let's take a break, Father. Father, have you ever been in Okemos on a Sunday morning?
I have, in fact. Why do you ask?
Sometimes you get these places, these new towns. If you're from, DeWitt or Grand Ledge, you don't always know where to go for mass. So if you were to find yourself in Okemos, where would you go for mass?
Well, there is one place that I would certainly highly recommend, and that is St. Martha's in Okemos. It's a solid parish, great community, excellent pastor and staff.
Who's the pastor over there?
That would be Father Ryan Riley. We were in seminary together, and now he's pastor out there.
So they kind of hold down the fort in Okemos. And Miss Andrea Patton does an excellent job with that school. And so we are very grateful to the parishioners and the people and the staff at St. Martha's Parish in Okemos, Michigan.
What's their mascot? Are they angels?
I have no idea.
We're going to take a break again. We don't know.
They're the miracles, I think.
St. Martha's
This is where we need a producer in the background to quickly Google these things and tell us, because no idea.
We were doing great there, Mr. Louie, until you gave us a random question.
So for those of you who haven't heard, we have our first official sponsor of the podcast, and that would be St. Martha and Okemos. They actually sent us a bag of swag here. We got some polo shirts,
well,
brand new.
Mr. Louie, but
They're size large, so I hope that's sufficient for you gentlemen, because I can't really wear polo shirts, at least
I
not
appreciate
often.
you find people at St. Martha's thinking that I'm a large. That really makes me feel better about myself. So well done. Thank you to the fine people at St. Martha's. And if you are wanting to have a read like we just gave the St. Martha's read, we would be happy to take your stuff in exchange for goods.
So is this where we say this episode is sponsored by St. Martha Parish in Okemos?
Yeah, it was a natural read. Like we just want to show you other fine establishments throughout the Lansing area that this is the kind of things we can offer to you as we continue to grow our podcast family.
Well,
soon to be award winning, because I think there's a podcast award we could probably submit our stuff.
For what it's worth, I think St. Martha needs a shout out for holding down one of the best fish fries during Lent.
Really?
I mean, that's how I first ever, being a Lansing native, St. Martha came on the radar for its fish fry. They upped the game in the local area.
So St. Martha's in Okemos, we have the fish.
That's right. That's the other side gig we do on this show, is we come up with slogans for things. Maybe their next packet of swag will have that as the tagline.
We have the fish.
Is that how we should end the show?
No,
God wants to
talk about here.
What else do we have to talk about?
We got a lot. I got a lot of stuff.
Oh,
on here.
All right. Well, what else are we here to talk about?
Well, I mean, we're editing half this episode out already, so we're down to about 4 minutes of quality content. We want to talk to Mr. Louie about some of the stuff. What are the changes going into this year?
Oh yeah, we didn't even get to that part.
I know that, Father. That's why I got my iPad here and you don't. So we talked about the bell schedule change, right? We talked about all the things we have differently. Is there anything new to know about the uniform?
No.
So,
other than
kids can still wear hoods and they can still wear black pants.
Hoods were never allowed.
Oh, really?
So that needs to be corrected.
Okay.
If that was an assumption. We certainly have talked about it several times with students, but
not on the podcast, and people only listen to podcasts now.
So hoods are not a part of any uniform.
What about casual Fridays?
They're not casual Fridays. They are spirit wear Fridays.
Okay, sorry.
And spirit wear Fridays, wearing the same school-appropriate bottoms, which are uniform bottoms, but you can wear items that have Lansing Catholic on them, which may include a hood. So Fridays, if you want to wear a hood, that's your day to wear it.
So Monday, so it's Monday through Thursday morning, and I'm getting ready for school. Not me, but now I'm playing the part of a student. I'm playing all the hats today.
I can picture you as a 9th grader.
Oh, it was terrible. I had a shaved head. I was here as a 9th grader. I was 5'3", 90 pounds.
With a shaven head?
Shaven head, and on the basketball team, I wore the big giant rec spec goggles. Again, I'm tiny, so they took up half my face. I put it this way, I would have shoved myself into a locker if I had been around. It was awful. It was terrible. Not a good time for the little Mr. Stolpa there. And that was I called myself, too. That didn't help. So I'm getting ready for school, and I need to put on articles of clothing. I have to wear a polo shirt.
That has the Lansing Catholic logo embroidered on it, yes.
And what does that logo have to say?
Has to say Lansing Catholic High School on it.
In some form, Cougar head, cross are okay?
Well, the ones that we are expecting and the uniform ones are the ones that have it written out left to right, Lansing Catholic High School. with the crucifix in the middle.
Okay, so I need to have and what color?
Well, now we're getting into some of the gray areas because we are only supplying through my A Plus 2 colors, navy and the lighter blue. However, if you are a junior or senior, you may have bought something that was a shirt that was white, and that still can be worn throughout your time here at Lansing Catholic. But sophomores and freshmen, they should have only the navy blue and the light blue because that's all that was available to buy at my A Plus.
Okay.
And so when they are seniors, the current sophomore class, that is the expectation that only those 2 colors will be worn.
Okay, so I needed my polo shirt, khaki pants, and if I'm a lady, I have to wear a skirt or pants.
So in addition to khaki, black pants, uniform pants from my A Plus, both khaki and black, may be worn. Girls, black, khaki, those 2 options exist in the skirts, but also the plaid, so our tartan blue mixed in with other colors. Those 3 options exist for the ladies.
Okay. And then if I want to wear, it's cold. Sometimes it's cold in the building.
It can be.
And I can wear my coat, right?
Coats are not to be worn.
Oh, no coats. Nope. Okay.
So
and
if
why
you
is
need,
that? I think some people don't realize why that's a rule.
Sure. And in fact, it's not just Lansing Catholic who has such an approach to this. A lot of schools, for the reason of safety, are requesting or having the expectation that coats are either not even be brought to school or they are in the lockers only.
And that's because you could easily hide something in your jacket.
Yeah, sadly, that is what has happened in terms of, violence within schools.
Same reason why we don't allow backpacks in the classroom, right?
Exactly. So bringing in things, having things accessible, and it gets into other substances too that could be within reach or other things that are a distraction. Or a tripping hazard for backpacks also is one of the things. And our rooms aren't the biggest, and we have a lot of kids in some of our rooms.
So they come to school with a jacket on, but then they got to put it in the locker before you go to your classroom.
Yep,
Same
even
with
if it
their
says
backpack.
Lansing Catholic on it.
Yep.
So I got my pants or my skirt. I got my polo shirt. And if I'm cold, I cannot wear a coat. But what can I wear instead?
So there's different outerwear options that are school approved that are part of the uniform. At a very least, a long sleeve polo shirt could be worn instead of a short sleeve. Those are in the My A Plus store. Otherwise, something over the polo shirt could be the quarter zip. And if you want something warmer than that, then we have 2 options, a sweater, and again, these are all at My A Plus, or a sweatshirt, crew neck sweatshirt or a quarter zip sweatshirt. Those were a big hit last year. Many students purchased those because they're good value and comfortable.
Now, I've heard there's one other uniform option, which is a full head-to-toe
Performance suit.
The performance suit.
I was excited where we were going
I've
with
heard
that.
many titles of this: the track suit, the performance suit, the athletic suit. So
Well,
what is it?
It's fun to read through. It's fun. Well, yeah. I mean, all those terms apply. We call it the performance tracksuit or performance suit at least. If you said tracksuit, nobody's gonna get upset with you. But you see these in catalogs, whatever they're called. So we have an option that is in response primarily for the reason of comfort. And what we see on most any casual dress day is that somewhere around 90% of our students, maybe as low as 85, but yeah, the majority of our students are wearing sweats or tracksuit type things. And so we found a way to be able to include that and find a product that wasn't as expensive as they come and similar price point to other uniform options. And you can buy the set. You can buy multiple of the pants. If you want a multiple of the jackets, it's fine, but it's a full quarter or it's a full zip. And that can be worn also because it has, again, the embroidered Lansing Catholic High School left to right with the crucifix in the middle, both on the jacket and the pants.
So I've seen some students wearing this at the end of last year because we started kind of started rolling it out there. And it looks pretty good. They look sharp when they walk up. They've got the matching top and bottom. They wear a polo shirt underneath. And
You still have to wear a polo shirt with the tracksuit?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
No T-shirt. You could wear a T-shirt under the polo, but that is the shirt that primarily needs to be worn. And if for some reason you got hot in the classroom, because we did release this, make this available just after spring break is when students were getting them. Even though it was really cold right before spring break, we were hopeful they could have been in use then. if you do get a little warm, you want to take the jacket off, that's fine. And you just have to have the polo shirt, of course, that we are looking for to make sure that we are all in uniform.
When can I just start wearing the tracksuit instead of my clothes?
There has been several.
I don't think
staff
anyone would notice,
asking
Father,
that.
if you wore the tracksuit. You just put a little collar on the top.
Well, I have that
Hang a piece of
Lansing
white paper
Catholic
right there.
full zip like sweater thing that was given me right when I got here, and so for most of the winter, I just wear that over my clerics, and so the tracksuit kind of looks like what I've been wearing this whole time.
That wasn't the goal, to make our students look like you, but there's a look that's been modeled that's quite.
I mean,
Quite
they're just
sharp.
a solid black. Like, it's just a classic. It just looks good. Looks tidy.
It is, and these are real durable as well. I mean, they're not cheapo stuff, and so we want them to last well for our students. And so it's been exciting to see all the students who are buying them and choosing to wear that.
So it's my turn to talk about.
What are you
new
going to talk about?
spiritual
Your
formation
uniform?
things?
Oh,
No.
yes. Let's talk
Or
about
is there
new
more stuff you wanted to talk about?
Maybe come back to me in a moment.
Okay. You need some time to get
We got a
past.
time limit here, Mr. Luvia.
So spiritual formation stuff. Well, we're continuing discipleship group, so that'll be on Thursdays. As I mentioned, we'll start at 7:30, so just be aware of that earlier start time. Another thing that we're going to be starting this year is a monthly adoration night, and this is meant to be more outward focused. So certainly our own students are invited and welcome to be a part of it, but we're going to invite any Lansing or any high school students from the Lansing area as a way of helping some of our parishes that don't really have youth groups running in any way. So I was just getting ready to email some of the priests about this, and there's already some interest from them. I mentioned it a little bit last year as sort of an idea, and they were all about it. So you can look for those dates. That'll be on Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. I think we're going to do the third Wednesday of the month. So it'll just be adoration, and then we'll have some fellowship. We're probably going to do like a bonfire the first few nights while it's still nice out, maybe do s'mores, that sort of thing.
So kind of like that July Jesus night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my daughter attended that, and
Yeah.
she really enjoyed seeing people who aren't students here that are looking for such an environment
Yeah.
joining in.
Yeah, it was cool to see a couple of students come from other parishes and places where they might not have that sort of thing. So that's sort of a new thing. And then the other thing we're going to be doing is we hired somebody for the campus ministry team whose full-time focus is going to be small group formation. So this is all still kind of in the works as far as how this is going to happen. But the idea is that we can form these groups of students, about 5 to 6 at the most, and pair them with an adult mentor, and they'll meet on a weekly basis. And it's meant to be like a faith sharing group, a place to have an adult that you can connect with and just mentor you as you go through your high school years and transition into adulthood. And there's another high school in Iowa that's been doing this for years, and it's had a huge impact on the
Dowling.
student body. Yeah, Dowling High School. So we're excited to start bringing that here.
Would
So
those adult mentors, are they teachers here at the school, or where would they come from?
Not necessarily. So we are going to go out recruiting these mentors ourselves. So some of them might be teachers, some might just be good parents. From
Could be
our partner
listeners of this
parishes,
high-quality
might be
podcast.
Listeners to this podcast. So we're going to
High-quality
go out
podcast.
and recruit those adult mentors.
So interesting. You mentioned the school out in Iowa, Dowling, and at the camp that I was working with last week, one of our high school volunteers, who is a former camper, lives in Iowa. I see him wearing Dowling T-shirt, and I said, "My goodness, I didn't realize that. That's happens to be the school Caitlin Clark went to."
That's right.
And he goes, "Yeah, her house is wherever." I'm like, "Okay, cool." Said, "Hey, tell me about the small group thing, and what's the official name they use out there for their program?"
Ut Fidem.
Yeah, he responded, "Oh, you mean Ut Feedem?" Yes, that. And he just lit up. He's going into his senior year, and he got connected to it last year. And he says it was absolute highlight. He's so looking forward to joining back in it, and the outside mentor makes a big difference. So nothing but good things. He volunteered to come out and share about it if we wanted to.
Oh,
when
great.
could the kids expect that to be rolled out?
Well, I think so. Sydney Gailey, Miss Gailey, is the one we hired for this. So she's already here in the building. She's been here for the summer. The training that we're doing with Dowling kind of got delayed, so she won't be going out there until September. But I think she's going to start at least one group of girls because she already, knows the basics enough to get one group going. And then we might try to get a couple of groups for boys as well. And, we'll kind of see how it progresses. This is a totally new thing, so it's hard to say exactly how long it's going to take, but we're excited to give it a try.
There we go.
Very exciting.
Very good. Intellectually, we don't have too many new innovations like these two fine gentlemen here, we're continuing with our emphasis on instruction, curriculum, and we are including a further emphasis on reading and learning how to discuss and how to use the text to support an argument, which we have found that our students need a lot of work on. And so in all our transparency, we want to keep focusing on that and to continue that. We had a lot of celebrations from this past summer, including I want to shout out to Mr. John Pohl, our AP Calculus teacher. There were 10 kids who took AP Calculus class last year, and there were 10 kids who received a 5, a perfect score on the AP Calculus exam. So overall, we showed an entire increase in all of a 5-year increase in all of our AP scores, but it's going to be hard for Mr. Pohl to show an increase in a 100% 5.
It's only downhill from there.
Let's talk about that phrase. It's only downhill from there. I was at a school one time, and it was at the end of the year, and it was like the last day of the finals. And he said, guys, one more day of finals, and then it's all downhill from there. And I read that. I'm like, oh, man. So it feels like it's one of those phrases that could be good or bad.
I guess you're right in the sense, like downhill is
downhill,
easier.
Yeah. When you're going downhill,
like running downhill is
on
easier.
a bike, it's on a shoom, just go. But
assuming your bike works,
right? It could be. Yeah, you might have square wheels, and then it's a lot of bumps
or bad working brakes.
So this is. I'm never going to think of this saying the same now. You've like blown my mind.
Right. It's like saying
downhill. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That glass is half full. It's like, is the glass only half full or still half full?
Depends on how you look at it.
Meaning, I could have more.
So. First day of the second season of the podcast, it's all downhill from here.
We'll let our listeners decide what they want to read into that.
I did remember something else about social formation that I think is worthy of bringing forward.
Okay.
And this has to do with Mondays.
Oh, that's on my list here.
I thought it was going to be drug testing.
No drug testing.
I didn't mention
will be
that.
Drug testing.
I'm not mentioning.
We'll edit that part out so I don't get convulsions.
We have another name for Rozhinka, or at least what you can expect.
It's not Rozhinka, though.
It's not Rozhinka, but during that slot, third hour on Mondays, and there aren't Mondays.
Select Mondays throughout
yes, select
the year.
Mondays. I think we'd counted like 17 of them or something. 18. Mentoring Mondays.
What are you talking about, Mr. Lulia? What does that mean?
So, in your Rozhinka, you have the blessing of a mentor. That's the person in charge, leading the adult responsible for the situation. And, of course, our Rozhinkas are meant to be a place for caring for one another, right? For praying, for serving, and I'm missing the last one. Help me out.
Playing?
Playing, yes. And all that stuff will still continue. However, we're doubling down on that opportunity to care for one another, particularly the mentor getting to know each of the students in a meaningful way and a helpful way by having some regular conversation, just you and the mentor. Maybe a few people could go each Monday, if time allows, for like a 5 to 8 minute conversation, roughly. And, checking on your grades a bit, seeing if there's any problem solving there, checking in how your weekend, because it's a Monday, what you're looking forward to or not during the week. And other questions that, are just natural to have when you're taking the time to have that conversation with another person. And, it might be a little uncomfortable for some people, teachers included or mentors included. But nonetheless, it's something we're really feeling called to do and supporting our students across the board here in that intentional way.
And that was part of this came from the student survey that we do every year. And there was lots of positive things that the students overall had to say. But one of the areas where we were consistently scoring low in terms of their evaluation was the question, I think, was, do you have a real connection with an adult in the building or something like that?
Connected, yeah.
And a lot of students said no, which was, not great. So we decided, we really want to focus on that in a particular way this year and try to build that one-on-one connection so that you at least have someone in the building that in a regular way is checking in on you, not just about schoolwork, but just like life in general and how things are going. And so that's, I think, going to be a really good opportunity on those Mondays.
And we already had the space, right, to do such a thing, and a relationship sort of established, in the mentor and the students. And again, the nice thing is this isn't a relationship that's just going to be gone after 1 year as well.
Right.
There's other schools I've been a part of where you get a new kind of homeroom or a new whatever group every year. So this is meant to be somebody who you work to foster that relationship with, they're going to do that. You can count on them to be there. And some days you might have more to talk about than other days. That's fine. It's just that you can expect that we're going to have a conversation with you to be there for you.
Very good. That was a good first episode, Father.
So are we done?
I think so. We talked about everything. I'm trying to look at my list. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you're all excited for a new school year. We certainly are. We're going to be seeing all of you shortly. It's going to be a great year. And you'll have to listen to all the updates here on the Lansing Catholic Podcast.
One quick question, though, Father Joe. Should we warn them about your facial hair?
He already talked about it in the last one.
Yeah, but it's gotten worse. I mean, better since then. You look like the Wolfman, Father. But like in that weird phase when he was still changing into the Wolfman.
See, this is the advantage of not having a video podcast, is now people just have to imagine and wonder for themselves until they come to the school and see.
They always tell me I had a face for radio, so...
All right, folks, that's all for now. Have a great week. I always forget how we end this. What do we say?
You reintroduce yourself.
Oh, that's right. I'm Father Joe.
And I'm Mr. Stolpa. Thank you. And Mr. You never get to say anything. You're the guest. Go ahead, Mr. Lulia.
And as a guest, Mr. Lulia.
Go Cougars.